Hey guys, I'm Daddy Plant, and I fix brown leaves, not broken hearts. Today we're talking about one of the most fragrant flowers you can grow in a container, jasmine. That sweet, intoxicating scent that fills the air on warm summer evenings. White, star-shaped flowers, dark green, glossy leaves, and a climbing or trailing habit. Jasmine is the quintessential plant for a balcony, patio, or even a sunny windowsill indoors. And the best part? It's not as hard to grow as people think. There are many types of jasmine, but for pots, the best choices are Jasminum polyanthum. Pink jasmine, also called winter jasmine or Chinese jasmine. This is the most common one. It has pink buds that open to white, intensely fragrant flowers. It blooms in late winter and early spring indoors, or in spring outdoors. Then there's Jasminum officinale, common jasmine or poet's jasmine. This one blooms in summer. It's slightly less vigorous than polyanthum. And Jasminum sambac, Arabian jasmine. This one has waxy white flowers and blooms repeatedly through warm weather. It's the flower used to flavor jasmine tea. For beginners, Jasminum polyanthum is the easiest and most rewarding. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new plant care videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Have you ever grown jasmine? What does it smell like to you? I'd love to hear about it. Now let's get into it. First, let's talk about light. Jasmine needs sun, lots of sun. Indoors, place it in a south or west-facing window. Outdoors on a patio or balcony, give it full sun to partial shade. In very hot climates, afternoon shade protects the leaves from scorching. If you don't give jasmine enough light, it won't bloom. The plant will get leggy, long stems with few leaves, and the flowers will be sparse. So find the sunniest spot you have. That's where jasmine belongs. Now let's talk about the pot. Choose a pot with drainage holes. Jasmine hates wet feet. The pot should be about 2 inches wider than the root ball. Terracotta pots work well because they breathe and help prevent overwatering. Plastic pots work too, but you need to be more careful with watering. For climbing jasmine, use a pot that's heavy enough to support a trellis. Lightweight plastic pots tip over easily when the plant gets tall. For trailing jasmine, a hanging basket is perfect. Now let's talk about soil. Jasmine needs well-draining soil. A standard indoor potting mix with extra perlite works well. Mix 2 parts potting soil with 1 part perlite or coarse sand. This creates a light, airy mix that holds moisture but drains quickly. Jasmine does not like heavy, soggy soil. If you're using a terracotta pot, the soil will dry out faster, which is actually good for preventing root rot. Now let's talk about planting. The best time to plant jasmine in a pot is spring. Choose a healthy plant from a garden center or nursery. Remove it from its nursery pot and gently loosen any circling roots. Place it in your new pot at the same depth it was growing before. Add soil around the sides, press down gently, and water thoroughly. If you're growing climbing jasmine, add a trellis or hoop at planting time. It's much easier to insert the support before the plant gets big. Now let's talk about watering. This is where people make mistakes. Jasmine likes consistently moist soil, but not soggy soil. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Stick your finger in the pot. If it's dry at your first knuckle, it's time to water. In most homes, that means watering about once a week in spring and summer, and every 10 to 14 days in fall and winter. For outdoor pots in summer, you may need to water every 2 or 3 days, especially in hot weather. Always water thoroughly until water runs out of the drainage holes. Then empty the saucer. Never let jasmine sit in standing water. And here's a pro tip. Jasmine doesn't like wet leaves. Water at the soil level, not overhead. Now let's talk about humidity. Jasmine appreciates average to high humidity. Indoors, especially in winter with the heater running, the air can get very dry. The signs of low humidity are brown leaf edges and flower buds that dry up and drop off before opening. To increase humidity, use a humidifier near the plant. Group it with other plants, or set the pot on a pebble tray filled with water. Just make sure the pot isn't sitting directly in the water. Do not mist the flowers. Misting can cause the white petals to turn brown. Now let's talk about temperature. Jasmine likes it warm during the growing season, between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. In winter, jasmine needs a cool rest period to bloom well. Move it to a cool spot with temperatures between 40 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit for about 6 to 8 weeks. An unheated garage, a cool basement, or a cool hallway works well. During this rest period, water less, just enough to keep the soil from drying out completely. And don't fertilize. The cool rest triggers flower bud formation. After the rest period, move it back to a warm, sunny spot, and you'll get buds in a few weeks. Now, let's talk about fertilizer. Jasmine is a heavy feeder during the growing season. It produces a lot of growth and flowers, and it needs fuel. From spring through summer, feed your jasmine every 2 weeks with a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer like 10-10-10 or 20-20-20. When buds appear, switch to a high phosphorus fertilizer like 10-30-20 to encourage more blooms. Stop fertilizing in fall and winter when the plant is resting. Now, let's talk about pruning and training. Jasmine responds very well to pruning. In fact, regular pruning keeps it bushy and full. Prune right after flowering. For Jasminum polyanthum, that's late spring or early summer. For Jasminum officinale, that's late summer. Remove any dead, damaged, or weak stems. Cut back the long, leggy stems by about 1/3 to 1/2. This encourages branching and more flowers next season. For climbing jasmine, tie the main stems to your trellis or hoop with soft plant ties. For trailing jasmine, let it cascade over the edge of the pot or hanging basket. Don't prune in fall or winter. You'll cut off next year's flower buds. Now let's talk about overwintering potted jasmine. Jasmine is not frost hardy. If you live in a cold climate, you must bring your potted jasmine indoors for winter. Move it inside before the first frost. Put it in a cool room with a sunny window. Reduce watering. The plant may drop some leaves. That's normal. In spring, after the danger of frost has passed, move it back outside gradually. Give it a week of partial shade before putting it in full sun. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1. No flowers. This is usually not enough sun or no cool winter rest period. Move to a sunnier spot. Give the plant 6 to 8 weeks of cool temperatures between 40 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. Problem 2. Yellow leaves. Can be overwatering, underwatering, or nutrient deficiency. Check the soil. If it's soggy, water less. If it's bone dry, water more. If neither, fertilize. Problem 3. Brown leaf tips or edges. Low humidity or too much fertilizer. Increase humidity with a pebble tray. Cut back on fertilizing. Problem 4. Leaves dropping. Can be cold drafts, sudden temperature changes, or overwatering. Keep the plant away from drafty windows and doors. Check your watering. Problem 5. Powdery mildew. White powder on leaves. Common in humid conditions with poor air circulation. Improve airflow. Water at the base, not overhead. Use a fungicide if severe. Problem 6. Pests. Jasmine can get aphids, spider mites, and whiteflies. Aphids cluster on new growth and buds. Spray them off with water or use insecticidal soap. Spider mites love dry conditions. Increase humidity and use neem oil. Whiteflies fly up when you disturb the plant. Use yellow sticky traps. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Have you grown jasmine in a pot? Where did you put it? Balcony, patio, or indoors? I'd love to know. Now, let's talk about getting jasmine to bloom indoors. The key is the cool winter rest. Many people keep their jasmine in a warm room all winter, and it never blooms. Give it that 6 to 8 weeks of cool temperatures. A cool windowsill in an unheated room works perfectly. Also, don't prune in fall or winter. The flower buds form on old wood. Prune right after flowering, not before. Now let's talk about jasmine in hanging baskets. Trailing jasmine varieties are perfect for hanging baskets. Use a basket with drainage holes. Use a light potting mix with perlite. Plant several young plants together for a fuller look. Hang in a sunny spot. Water regularly. Hanging baskets dry out fast. Feed every 2 weeks. In winter, bring the basket indoors to a cool spot. In spring, hang it back outside. Now let's talk about the fragrance. This is why we grow jasmine. The scent is strongest in the evening and at night. That's because jasmine is pollinated by night-flying moths. So if you want to enjoy the fragrance, sit on your patio or balcony in the evening. The scent will be much stronger than during the day. A single plant in full bloom can scent an entire room or a small balcony. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. How fast does jasmine grow? Fast. In good conditions, it can grow several feet in a single season. How often should I repot? Every 2 to 3 years in spring. Go up 1 pot size. Can I grow jasmine indoors year-round? Yes, but it needs a cool winter rest to bloom. Keep it in a cool room in winter. Is jasmine toxic to pets? Yes, jasmine plants are toxic to cats and dogs if ingested. Keep them out of reach. How do I make jasmine more bushy? Prune right after flowering. Cut back the long stems. The plant will branch out. Let's wrap everything up. Potted jasmine is one of the most rewarding container plants you can grow. Give it full sun. Use a pot with drainage holes and well-draining soil. Water when the top inch of soil is dry. Give it a cool winter rest of 6 to 8 weeks between 40 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. This is critical for blooming. Prune right after flowering. Fertilize every 2 weeks during the growing season. And enjoy that incredible fragrance on warm summer evenings. Here's the most important thing to remember. Jasmine is not hard, it's just seasonal. It needs a winter rest to bloom. If you give it that cool period, it will reward you with masses of fragrant flowers. If you keep it warm all winter, you'll get lots of leaves and no flowers. So don't treat it like a typical houseplant. Give it seasons, let it rest, then let it shine. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you going to try growing jasmine in a pot? On your balcony or patio? I'd love to see it. Also, what fragrant plant should I cover next? Gardenia? Lavender? Honeysuckle? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your plants, and they'll take care of you. See you in the next video.